In this video, I want to talk to you about something called the Bollinger Band squeeze, Bollinger Band, however you want to call it. And I'll show you two different examples of it, and then how you can actually create conditions for it so that you can find it on your chart fairly easily when it occurs. So first up, I'm recording this on November the 5th, 2014. So essentially, we'll take a look at rows first, and essentially if we narrow the charts down quite a bit here, and I'm going to look at the time frame of around 1150 on this chart. So as you see, I have two different types of bands, and the first is a Bollinger Band, and I've got that outlined in yellow, and I'm looking at this on a 1 minute chart, but the pattern that I'm getting ready to show you applies whether it's a 1 minute chart or a 30-minute chart, a 2-hour chart, a daily chart, whatever. Same principle applies. And then you can see that I also have Keltner channels, and those outside lines are shown in blue here. Okay, so the basic setup for a Bollinger Band squeeze is when the Bollinger Bands come inside the Keltner channel, as you can see here. And as you can tell, it doesn't happen very often, right? This is on a 1 minute chart even, and then you see that it doesn't happen very often where both of the Bollinger Bands, the top band of the Bollinger Band is inside the top band of Keltner, and the lower Bollinger Band is inside the lower band of the Keltner. So that's a really tight squeeze here. It means that price is consolidated to the point, and what we know is that it's not going to stay like that for very long. That sooner or later is going to break out of that squeeze pattern. So what we're looking for is to take advantage of that, to see that consolidation first, to notice it on our chart, and then to trade whichever way it tends to break out. So that is one of the patterns. Now I'm going to show you the other one, just to show you that it happens quite frequently. On this one, I'll move it back to the center, MDLZ, also on today. You can see where it was around 11:15 where the Bollinger Bands come inside the Keltner channel in a really tight squeeze right in this area here. And again, you see that it doesn't happen anywhere else on this chart. It nearly happens in here, but it doesn't. But right in here we get this real tight bottleneck or real tight squeeze pattern, or whatever you want to call it. Now, what I want you to think about is what is similar about both of those, other than the fact that both of them have squeeze patterns and they're about 30 minutes apart. But what else is similar on that chart? And there are a couple of things that are true. And what I want to point out is we can go back to rows again and look at that at 1150, around in there, 1155. And it doesn't happen very tight, it just barely gets inside there. But one thing is true about both of them. On the commodity channel index set at 14 down here in the bottom, you can see that as we get into this squeeze pattern, that CCI is above the zero line. As you can see, I have multiple horizontal lines drawn for commodity channel, but the most meaningful by far is the zero line for any type of trading, any type of time frame. But what you can see is that as we get into the squeeze pattern, CCI stays above the zero line during that squeeze, and then finally we get a break, and we get a break above the 50 CCI, and then a break above the 100 CCI, and then we're just off to the races, right? And we get this nice big push, which would have made an easy 1% gain up into here, but if you had held onto the trade into the sweet spot in here, you could have made even more on the trade. So what is similar is we have the squeeze pattern I've just identified with Bollinger Bands inside the Keltner channel bands. We have CCI above zero and then breaking out to higher levels in here. At the same time, also should point out that we have the 20 EMA, which is this dashed purple line that runs through the middle of both the Keltner channel and the Bollinger Bands. And at that point we also see that price moves above the 20 EMA in a pretty profound fashion right in here. Let's look back at MDLZ around 11:15. Let's see what happens on that one. So around 11:15 you can see we have the squeeze pattern, and then the same sort of thing happens. CCI comes back down to debate the zero line just briefly at the bottom part of that squeeze in here. but then price moves back above the 20 EMA on this candle right in here, and then CCI moves above the 50 and moves above the 100, and again, you know, we have a nice little 1% pop on the trade. Now, seeing that is one thing. How do you go about finding them on the chart? So if you're using TC2000, you may not be aware of some of the things that you can do on it. A lot of people are not aware of the power of TC2000, how you can create conditions. But one of the things, once you have both the indicators on the chart, Bollinger Bands and Keltner Channel, and those are just set at the default settings, nothing special there. You can go into Bollinger Bands there and you can create a scan condition. You can say, for this scan, what I want to do is I want the channel top of the Bollinger Bands, and then you can scroll down to here and you'll see that you also have lots of indicators on my chart, but here you have Bollinger Bands versus the Keltner Channel. So if you open that up, then you can see that what we want is we want the channel top of the Bollinger Band to be below the top line of the Keltner Channel, right? So channel top is below the Keltner Channel top right here. So that would be the first part of our condition, and then we could name that and we could save that condition to the library. We could also add it to an existing watch list. Okay, so we could save it to condition to the library and then place it on our watch list every day that we're trading if we wanted to be able to find that condition. Okay, likewise, we need two different signals here. We need the top, we just did the top Bollinger Band inside the top Keltner. Now we need the bottom Bollinger Band inside the bottom Keltner. Right, say all that fast real quick. So again, we're going to create a scan condition. Move this over so you can see it. And again, we're going to select the channel bottom. Right, we want the channel bottom. Let's go on down here to Keltner Channels and open that up. We want the channel bottom to be above the Keltner Channel bottom right in here. So we just simply drop that in there. Channel bottom of Bollinger Bands is above the Keltner Channel bottom. And again, same thing. We could add that to existing watch list, can save the condition. We save the condition, we just have to transport that onto the watch list each day that we create a new watch list. Now, I've set this up on a 1 minute. You can create the same condition on multiple time frames, but again, just showing you how you do that, because if you're just going out there and looking and trying to find when does this happen, you're going to miss it when it happens, right? But if you set up conditions in TC2000, or if you're using some other chart platform, you can see if they have some method for doing that as well. But you can create check marks over here on the over here on my watch list, and that tells me that the condition has met, and that way it flashes when I'm trading, and I can find that pattern whenever it occurs on whichever watch list I'm watching at the time. Okay, so anyway, brief introduction to the whole principle, the whole strategy of Bollinger Band squeeze, and then how you can actually create conditions on TC2000 for finding that when it occurs. So I hope that video is helpful for you. So I hope you enjoyed this short video about trading the Bollinger Band squeeze play. If you'd like more information about trading with technical analysis, then that's what I do, and you can come visit my site, www.startdaytrading.com. There's a hyphen in between each of those words, and then do a / and bollinger.html, just as it's shown on the screen there, and give you a second to write that down. And there should be a link also below this video where you can go directly to that page as well. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video.